So today I want to continue with these experiential exercises so you can directly feel for yourself that you are not the program running in the left side of your brain, what I call Mind 1.0, which was so helpful to our ancestors in terms of survival. But for so many of us, if you're watching this, most of these survival problems have already been solved, and now this program is left to create problems rather than solve them. We're going to use the Wason Card selection task today. A little bit more complex, but it's so worth the time. And so you'll get so many cool experiences with this, and one of my favorites to do in the classroom. So let's set it up. So we've got some cards, and the cards are set up so they have a number on one side and a letter on the other. All of them are like this. But let's imagine that the first two are letter up and the next two are number up. Now the hypothesis, well, let's take a look. So I went through some trouble and had some high-tech stuff here. So we've got four cards in front of us. The first two are letter up, the next two are number up. We have a hypothesis we have to test, a problem we have to solve. We have to test to see if this is true. And here's the hypothesis. If a card has a D on one side, then it has a 3 on the other side. So which two cards do you flip to test this rule? Now, if you're like most people, with Mind 1.0 running in the left side of your brain, you probably just heard a voice and it said, turn over the D and turn over the 3. Well, turning over the D is actually pretty helpful, because if you turn over the D and there's a 2, you've disproven the rule. But here's the problem. The real problem. Turning over the 3 tells you nothing. If you turn over the 3 and there's anything, that's irrelevant to the rule. What you really want to turn over is the 7. And now, again, your mind was set to solve specific problems related to survival. It's not good at these abstract kind of problems. But you want to turn over the 7, because if you turn over the 7 and there's a D, you've also disproven the rule. Okay. Now again, the mind, this Mind 1.0 program, is not good at abstractions, even though it loves to live in a world of abstractions. An amazing irony. And that's what gets us into so many problems. So let's get out of the abstract world and bring it back to something concrete that this Mind 1.0 program was actually, that it evolved to solve. And in this problem, let's make it all real world. You own a bar, and you're trying to see if anyone's cheating you. So it's made like a cheat detector. And we've got cards again. And on one side is what someone's drinking. And on the other side is how old they are. Okay, so here we got it. We've got, the first two are what they're drinking up, and the other two are age up. And the hypothesis, the problem we have to solve now is anyone underage drinking. Now, which two do you flip over to test this rule? Now, again, you probably did very little to solve this problem. You probably heard her voice, and like everyone else, it shows there's very little variability with this. You want to turn over drinking beer, and it better be 21 or over. And you also want to turn over the 16-year-old. And the reason you want to turn that one over is because, again, if they're drinking, you've found someone who's trying to cheat you. But the interesting thing is, and it takes a little while to see this, but that's exactly, the problem is exactly set up, except in this case, with D's and 7s, it's all abstract. What we've done is we've taken the abstract and we've made it concrete. And we show that Mind 1.0 does really well with concrete problems, and it does really poorly when it has to deal with the abstract world, which is so ironic because Mind 1.0 loves living in abstractions now. So again, I've done this in classes for 20 plus years, and my Mind 1.0 program still works just like all of yours. When I go through the first, what's a D and a 3, and then as soon as you are personally involved and it becomes concrete, then turning over the right cards becomes absolutely obvious. So it's an excellent example that you can feel for yourself how you are not this problem-solving Mind 1.0.